For this discussion, we'll be looking at the interaction of disturbances in tallgrass prairies. This paper takes a look at a field experiment that was done to analyze and to better understand um, the interaction of fire and grazing within these prairies. So far we've learned in this class all about the different types of disturbances and the roles in which they play to shape vegetation community structures. We've looked at disturbance as singular events and also as collective events that can be characterized by frequency, intensity, magnitude. Now we're looking at how different disturbance types can also be viewed and analyzed together as interacting disturbances. So this research paper focused on tallgrass prairies and the different types of disturbances common to this type of ecosystem, and specifically the interacting disturbances of grazing and fire. There is evidence that suggests that these disturbances interact with one another to affect community structure. And just for a refresher, we can look at disturbance interaction effects four different ways. We can look at them as compounding effects, synergistic effects, antagonistic effects, and neutral. So, the experiment outlined in this research paper was designed in order to study and determine the effects of fire and grazing on matrix and non matrix species within the tallgrass ecosystem. It also looked to determine how these disturbances affect community structure and to determine if these disturbances interact with one another to affect community structure. So, the study area where this study was conducted was located on about 36 acres of tallgrass prairie located at the USDA's Agriculture Research Service Livestock and Forage Research Station located in El Reno, Oklahoma. A little bit about the history of the project area. Um, for the previous 15 years, the study area only received fall and winter grazing at moderate levels, no fire, and the ground was never plowed. So there were four experimental treatments within this study that included ungrazed, unburned, grazed and unburned, ungrazed and burned, and grazed and burned. Burn treatments took place mid April during 3 consecutive years, and the grazing treatment occurred at moderate to heavy stocking rates of 1.4 hectare per animal through the months of May and September. So, for this experiment, each treatment area was randomly sampled with 15 50 by 50 centimeter quadrats over the course of 2 years. For each sampled area, aerial cover was visually estimated in 5% cover classes, and sampling occurred in late spring. For the data analysis, several different statistical approaches were used to determine effects of interacting disturbances on species, life form, and community structures. So, the results of this experiment indicated an overall interaction effect within the matrix and non matrix species groups. The analysis indicated the grazing fire interaction significantly affected the main matrix species, which was big blue stem. For this species of grass, cover was greatest with ungrazed and burn treatments as compared to the other, and the cover was lowest with grazed and unburned treatment. For life form effects, grazing and burning treatment had significant effects on the life form characteristics of species within each treatment area. Annuals and forbs both increased in cover with grazed as well as burned treatments. Perennials decreased in cover with the grazed burn treatments as well. Community structure effects included species richness and diversity, both significantly increasing with the grazing burning treatment. So the results of this experiments showed us that burning and grazing interactions had a significant effect on the invariant structure of the tallgrass prairie ecosystem. Individual species showed different responses to the effects of grazing and burn disturbance interactions, and effects from interacting disturbances play an important role in the evolution of grassland ecosystems. So, for our discussion, let's take a look at these two questions. So, according to the results of this study, in your opinion, which type of interaction effect does the grazing fire disturbance regime have on the tallgrass prairie ecosystem? Is this a compounding effect, synergistic effect, antagonistic effect? Is it neutral? And how might resource managers take advantage of knowledge regarding the fire grazing disturbance interactions to better manage tallgrass prairie ecosystems?